good morning, and thank you for joining us for After GMS. Hello there. I'm Tracy McCain here with meteorologist Christian Morgan and Stacy Spivey. It is Thursday, but to me it feels like Friday, even though my first day back to work was yesterday. So we're all confused here.
Yeah, and I think the weather though is not confusing because it's just been the same all week, and gosh, I'm just so ready to see the sun again, Christian.
I know. It seems like we get a little bit each afternoon, but we can't quite get a bright, sunshiny day in here, it seems so lately. A lot of that's being driven by the amount of humidity we have in the atmosphere. Now, I want to show you something first because we talked about this earlier this morning on the Good Morning Show, that ring of fire or that annular eclipse. Now, we couldn't see it here at home, unfortunately. We were too covered up with clouds, but this is a picture taken from a buddy of mine, Adam Moore, up near the D.C. area. So this was a shot of that eclipse, and it was really, I mean, some amazing photos coming in from the D.C. area and in New Jersey and up as you go into the east, up the east coast of the United States. So really some cool images coming in from that. Of course, here at home, we still have the clouds hanging overhead with temperatures in the 70s right now across the board. 73 in Winston-Salem, 73 in Asheboro as well, 72 Greensboro, and 72 Burlington. Now, we have seen also a few sprinkles moving across the area this morning with that batch of rain that's been moving out of the foothills over the last hour now, or last couple hours, I should say. It's really been a slow mover. So if you're out and about this morning, just kind of plan on maybe getting a sprinkle or a light shower as you're out running those morning errands. Now, high pressure off the coast still in control of our weather, weakening but still able to throw in some of that warm and muggy air off the ocean. There's also a cold front to our north, and as it gets closer, those two things will work together to kind of trigger some afternoon showers and thunderstorms like we've seen the last couple days. And again, notice as we go through in time here on Futurecast, they'll still be very hit or miss this afternoon. Not everybody is going to get a storm, but if you are outside this afternoon, keep that News 2 radar app handy just in case. Some of these storms, if they form, will likely be slow movers with heavy rain and also quite a bit of lightning as well. For the afternoon, extra cloud cover will help keep our temperatures a little bit lower than we were yesterday, right around 82 or 83 topping out today, and then another warm night of weather on the way. Upper 60s to near 70 degrees, a stray shower or a storm in the overnight hours, not totally out of the question either. Kind of the same story going into your Friday. Saturday looks to be our coolest day of the next 7, right around 80 degrees, and watching for a shower or a thunderstorm in the afternoon. A couple of those could be scattered. And then once that cold front gets by us, when we actually dry out some, get a little break in the humidity for Sunday, but the heat and humidity are back on quickly going into early next week. Monday and Tuesday look dry. It look like they'll be in the upper 80s, close to 90 in some spots.
All right, it's time to get to our first conversation. College sports entering a new era, one in which athletes can be paid endorsers and social media influencers in some states. And we want to know if you think that North Carolina college athletes should be able to earn money for things like endorsements or social media posts. You can let us know in the comments as I tell you more about it. So on July 1st, laws in 5 states will go into effect that will replace current NCAA regulations prohibiting name, image, and likeness compensation for athletes. Now, currently, the NCAA has a name, image, and likeness proposal ready to be voted on, but a Justice Department inquiry slowed things down. NCAA President Mark Emmert has insisted the new rules will be in effect by next football season, and action could come when the Division I Council meets at the end of this month. Now, here in North Carolina, the Senate Rules Committee introduced a name, image, likeness bill in 2019. SB 759 has not moved from that committee. One of the bill sponsors, Senator Paul Lowe, tells me he hopes students have the opportunities to use their name and likeness for their own entrepreneurial endeavors in the future. So I asked you on my Facebook page if you think North Carolina athletes should be able to get paid. Ron says, I don't think they should because they are getting a free ride through college that a lot of them don't take advantage of. Chauncey writes, why not? Why are they going to college? Money. Give it to them if they earn it. Just keep the playing field level for the colleges so it's not pay for play situation. And Paula says, no, but if you want to recruit, we have to keep up with other schools who do this. So go ahead and continue letting us know your thoughts on this on our Facebook stream. A lot of people weighed in on my Facebook page about this. I was surprised to see the majority of people said that they were against this happening. Many of them citing because those athletes do have full ride scholarships. That's the money that they get. But you have to consider many of the college athletes do not have full ride scholarships. And I think that if this opportunity presents itself, I think that the college athlete should be able to be the one that decides if they get to get money or not. I think that it can be kind of unfair, but I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about this. and your opinion is valued, of course. So go ahead and let us know what you think. But Christian, what do you think about this?
You know, it's, well, you know, it's
it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. It really is, because it's almost, you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword in some ways. While yes, if you are a popular athlete in the college world, I could see it. But also, you know, some folks don't have the full ride. And I also wonder at that age, if you're at college age, you haven't totally matured yet. You're still focusing on not only playing sports, but you're also focusing on your college courses and your curriculum as well. And I wonder if you add this into the mix, if it kind of takes away some of that athlete's attention on what they should really be paying attention to in college. Because you're not only in college to play sports, you're also there to learn something else. And once you get out of college, once you're playing professionally, of course you're being paid to play, and you know, why not? I just think it's such a touchy subject, and it can go so many different ways, and it's so subjective to each and every athlete when you're that young and when you're still playing at the college level. So I don't know what the right answer is, and I don't even know how I feel about it. Honestly, there's just so many different angles to come at it with.
Yeah, I don't know what the right answer is either, Christian, and you're right. There are so many different ways to take this. It is a hot topic, and my mom said when it's too hot, you get out of the kitchen. But the debate, I think, would also have to include this important fact, is that no one would know who you were if you weren't playing for the college that you were playing at. Mm-hmm. So you were not going to get endorsement deals. Most people out of high school, unless you're like the nation's top, you know, basketball, football recruit, but you know, the nation's top volleyball recruit, not me actually, but still, you know, they're not going to get noticed. Maybe when they're in college, you know, they may have some people who solicit them, but you know, when you think about how you got there, you have to say, well, you know, this is why I'm here, so let me put my focus and energy on that. However, I understand all sides of this debate, and as you know, an athlete in my former day, you know, I had to give up a lot. There were so many sacrifices I had to make. I don't think I went to one college party until after graduation. And it was like my graduation party. You know what I mean? I mean, there's so many sacrifices, so many things that you give up, but also, you know, I had 4 free years of college. And I don't have any college debt. And I love that. So, you know, there's some real win-wins here.
I think the fame factor plays a big part in it. You know, like especially if you're at college age. You know, I just kind of go back and think when I was growing up and I was watching Carolina play basketball. I was always a Carolina fan, and I always remember the Tyler Hansbroughs and the Sean Mays of the world in that era. And of course, if you think about those people, and those are your top players, and you're their biggest fan or whatever, you know, you have enough people do that, and I think you really become this famous athlete. There's plenty of folks we know that are playing now that have that fame factor, and I just wonder how that plays at such a young age in the college world when that's not the only thing that you're supposed to be focusing on.
Yeah, that brings up a really good point, Christian. This debate is going on the Facebook page right now, and I want to go ahead and read some of the comments because I think a lot of people have some interesting things to say about it. Jason says it's not fair for a regular student to get an endorsement and get a new car, but a student athlete would get into trouble for the same. Dana says absolutely they can't work while they play. They need to have living funds. Scholarships don't cover living expenses sometimes. You know, if the school is making money off them, students should get some of those funds. Let's see. Joseph says yes, as long as the money is spread across the entire team, it's a double-edged sword. I do think that's really interesting what Dana pointed out. You know, the school is making money off them. Students should get some of those funds. And maybe that goes back to, well, they had a full ride scholarship, there's the funds. But, you know, Tracy, you were talking about being a college athlete. I cheered for 2 years in college. I don't know if a lot of people wouldn't consider that, you know, college athlete, but
yeah, it's a sport.
I did have to commit a lot of time, effort, and energy to that. I mean, having practices, you know, almost every day, had to have 6 a.m. workouts, and we were a part of, you know, going to all the games, football, basketball, and I committed a lot to it. And at the time, unfortunately, cheerleaders did not get scholarships. So it was basically just me having like essentially a part-time job that I didn't get paid for. I enjoyed it, of course, but it would have been nice to have some money.
I can assure you, when I was in high school or graduating high school, going to college, I never would have had this issue because I was clumsy, I was terrible at sports, and I'm still bad at it. So this is something that I can't understand from that point of view.
One other point, right? Universities have mascots and they have logos and they're all trademarked, which means that they can make money off of that trademark. Athletes are not trademarked, right? We put our faces out there, we put our brands out there if we have one. I mean, some athletes don't, but we put ourselves out there, and the university can make money, but it's not a trademark situation. So who owns your image? Who owns you? And that is the source of the debate that will go on forever.
Yep.
Boom.
Yep.
It will.
Boom. Mic drop.
Yep. I mean, in other states, I mean, they have done this. They have made it a thing. And of course, the NCAA is looking into it, and they're going to make decisions later this summer, I think toward the end of June, actually. And of course, we'll just keep you updated on what they decide, and if this bill that has been in the Senate Rules Committee goes any further, we'll keep you updated.
All right, it'll be interesting to see which way it goes. All right, let's get to some morning headlines right now before our next conversation. Well, several of our area's largest law enforcement agencies say they are desperate for officers. Greensboro police say 6% of positions are unfilled. Winston-Salem police report 13% are unfilled, and High Point police have 10% of their workforce that needs to be filled. Burlington, it's up to 8%. Sheriffs are dealing with a similar situation. Alamance County tells us 10% of the positions there are open. The Walmart Distribution Center in Mebane is looking to fill 100 jobs. Full-time positions pay between $18 and $22 an hour. The hiring event runs from 2 to 6 today at the Walmart Distribution Center on Senator Ralph Scott Parkway in Mebane. The Guilford County Health Department is taking COVID vaccines straight to people who need them. The department gave the public an inside look at its first mobile vaccination unit. It's equipped with an exam room, a restroom, lab workstation, and a wheelchair lift. The unit aims to make vaccines more accessible to the community. Health officials are looking at a number of data points, such as vaccination to case rate ratios, and they'll figure out how to best serve the community. Guilford County plans to bring in 2 more mobile vaccine units, and they'll do the same things, but they will be a little bit smaller in size. Summer school enrollment has soared this year. After a year spent learning from home, tri-districts have doubled and some tripled the number of students enrolled this summer. WFMY News 2's Itanise McMiller has more on how districts are handling it.
Well, Guilford County schools went from just 1,200 to more than 15,000 students enrolled in summer school this year. Federal funding allowed them to expand their usual summer learning program to handle the boost in enrollment. You're looking at the dozens of options students have this summer. There are credit recovery courses and enrichment camps to help students get ahead. The in-person full-day programs will also incorporate social and emotional components, a big difference from just a few hours a day in years past.
The expectation is not that all that has been lost will be regained immediately, but that students are in a much better place, that they're getting used to just being in school and being full-time students again.
Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools has also more than doubled enrollment. They've also increased from 7 to 15 different summer programs. The goal is to help students regain educational and social loss during the unusual school year.
It's very different than school. This is very much a camp experience. It's a learning experience, but there's way more opportunities to be hands-on and do things a little differently outside the box. And maybe that'll be a silver lining from COVID as well, is how it reshapes some of these summer learning programs.
Summer enrollment has closed for Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools, and their courses begin on Monday. For GCS, their registration deadlines vary depending on the program. For more information on programs and registration processes, you can find that information on our website at WFMYnews2.com.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to our next conversation. So you probably heard about this, but Amazon launched new technology called Sidewalk that connects supported devices together with your neighbors using a small part of your internet connection. We're talking about things like your Amazon Alexa or maybe your Ring doorbell. So we want to know, how do you feel about a company sharing your Wi-Fi with your neighbors? Let us know in the comments as I tell you more. So let's dive into how Amazon Sidewalk actually works. Every home with Wi-Fi sends a small sliver of service to be shared with other Amazon products in the area. That way, devices nearby with spotty Wi-Fi can stay connected even if the devices themselves are out of range or disconnected from their home Wi-Fi networks. Amazon says Sidewalk is designed with multiple layers of privacy and security, and Sidewalk bridge owners do not receive any information about devices owned by others connected to Sidewalk. But what if you don't want to take the chance? Well, you can opt out, and here's how you can do it. If you have Alexa, you're going to open the Alexa app and go to Settings. You'll find Account Settings and select Amazon Sidewalk, then turn it off. If you have Ring devices, you'll have to turn off Sidewalk too. Again, just go to your app, you'll tap those 3 lines in the upper corner and go to the Control Center. Tap Sidewalk and disable it. Now, if you want to, obviously turn it on, then you can do the same thing in the reverse. So back to our question. How do you feel about a company sharing a portion of your Wi-Fi connection with your neighbors? Go ahead and let us know. This is something that actually my husband and I were talking about yesterday. I think we were a little confused about what we need to do or whatever, so I'm gonna have to talk to him more about it today. I think that we've decided just to go ahead and opt out of it. I don't know all of my neighbors, which sadly I know I need to go and meet all of them, but I just don't want our Wi-Fi out there or internet out there to connect with other devices. I'm just not quite sure about it, and I feel like I need to know more and research more to be able to feel comfortable with that. And I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. Tracy, this is something you and I were talking about earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why people are hesitant about this, is because for decades now, we've told people don't share your Wi-Fi information. Yeah, keep it safe. Don't, log on to different sites, or, it's easy for hackers to access your Wi-Fi and get your personal data. And now all of a sudden, Amazon is a company I shop with all the time, and Alexa's like my best friend in the house. Now they're saying, you can have your Wi-Fi split apart with, different sections of your neighborhood. Well, I mean, of course that sounds scary, but Amazon says it's completely safe and they're going to protect your privacy. But after decades of being told that that's not how it works, I mean, it's going to be hard for people to choose to go along with this. So, I mean, if we weren't, as educated as we are today, with, Wi-Fi safety and, hackers and all these, encrypto things that they have going on, maybe. But again, this isn't a situation where you even have to opt in, because you're already subscribed if you have any of these Amazon networks, Alexa, Ring app. You have to opt out of it. And if you don't opt out, then you're apparently automatically enrolled. So we opted out. Yeah, we did. I took care of that yesterday. I was like, Alexa, please opt out of Sidewalk. She's like, okay. Are you sure? You like me to? I'm like, yes. No, but you do have to go through the app and follow the steps that Stacy mentioned. Christian, what about you?
Here's my issue. I already get ads for things I've never said and I've just thought about. I don't want to know what my neighbors are thinking about or looking at or shopping for. I don't care. I don't want to see that. That's my first thing. Second off, this is really, really bad time that this has come up, because we had a pipeline that got hacked into. We had a meat company that got hacked into last week. What's the next thing going to be? And then now we're talking about sharing everything with Amazon Prime. I opt out. Case in point. Bye.
Yeah. There's some really good comments online. Stacy, have you seen these come through yet?
Yeah, I'm starting to see these. And, I'm trying to think of why, and I know we explained it earlier, and I'm going to have to do some more research as to why Amazon, even in the first place, decided to do this and what the benefits are. What are the benefits to this?
So Amazon decided to do this because of their Ring app, basically. They wanted to make sure that Wi-Fi connections were strong so that people would, one, be able to enter their homes when they didn't have their keys, but two, also so that their images would capture throughout the day. Because when your Wi-Fi goes down and there's a robbery at your home, your Ring app won't catch the image. However, if they can use your neighbor's Wi-Fi when your Wi-Fi goes out, then you can always have your images being recorded throughout the day. So it's kind of like, robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? We've heard of that before. you know, my Wi-Fi is down or it just went out for a few minutes, so my neighbor's Wi-Fi is going to cover my stuff so that I'm good to go. Or with my pets, you know, when they're, you know, they have the collar, the neck kind of.
So if they run off, you can use
Yes.
your neighbor's cameras and everything to, or Wi-Fi to try to find the dog.
There you go.
I mean,
Okay.
we're headed for the interconnectivity world as it is. You know, even in weather, a lot of times we talk about, in astronomy, we're talking about these Starlink satellites that Elon Musk is engineering, and they're launching them every so often. And the goal is to create this worldwide Wi-Fi network, so to speak. So I feel like this is kind of like the next step before this happens, but I'm still uneasy about it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't want anything to do with it. I researched why. I mean, I found out and I was able to repeat it for my own general
Informed
knowledge.
all of us.
Exactly. But I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I honestly, if I could have a flip phone, I would. Because I love simpler times. Now there are times when things, you know, are created to make our lives easier. But are they making our lives easier now that I'm, you know, I could be susceptible to a cyber attack, or someone could get into my bank account? Like, is that really making my life easier? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think we like convenience. We like convenience. That's just it.
We do.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to hear why Amazon did this, and now I kind of get why, but I still feel differently about it. And it seems like the majority of people on our feed are saying opting out of it. Dana said that they opted out. Jason's opting out. He said just another way for them to try and track you. Let's see, Bobby said he doesn't think that that's a good idea. Sharia's nope, not interested. Joanne said no thank you. Elena said opt out. Alexa is smart enough as is. Yeah. Heather said I wouldn't be interested in sharing my Wi-Fi. They should have made a general Wi-Fi in neighborhoods that don't have as much access to it. And Sharia says your phones and Alexa already know too much. Yeah.
I agree with Heather. You know, Wi-Fi should be free. That way everybody has access to it anyway.
I just picture a bunch of horror stories where somebody ends up with their neighbor's groceries that they ordered down the street, and you know, I just feel like there's going to be a problem somewhere.
There's
It's just too new, too soon, I think.
Yeah. But I guess, hey, you have to get started somewhere, and I'm sure some people will, you know, opt into this, and we'll see the benefits possibly, or maybe not, and we'll just see what happens. And maybe this is the way of the future. Who knows? We will find out.
Right. And let me just say the other side of this. I'm a negative Nancy anyway. I always think something is not going to work. You know, I just, that's the way I think. But I did see a consumer report out that said they talked to 3 Wi-Fi and security experts who said, one of them said, yes, do this because it will make everybody more accessible to the Wi-Fi and make things more secure around your home. But 2 of them said no, because it does open you up to the possibility of being hacked or something like that. And nobody wants, you know, we have cameras that watch our kids sleeping in the middle of the night. So I could literally, you know, roll over and see my kid who's in another room sleeping if they're making noise. I don't want my neighbor to see that, potentially, or someone I don't know, worse, seeing that, you know. So, you know, that's what I say. Negative Nancy, there you have it. That's me. Negative Tracy.
Oh, no.
I don't have any better news on the weather front either.
Ooh, negative Christian. Yay!
I'm about to be a wet Christian because it's now raining in the weather garden out here. By the way, shower, maybe a sprinkle possible this morning. I can tell you firsthand experience it's happening right now in Greensboro. Of course, as we go into the afternoon, we'll keep an eye out for some of those pop-up showers and storms. Although as long as we hold the clouds, that will actually limit some of our instability or limit some of our fuel for thunderstorms this evening. Nonetheless, we'll keep an eye on the radar just in case. 83 for your afternoon high. Copy and paste that for your Friday. Saturday looks to be the coolest day of the next 7. We'll also watch Saturday afternoon for some showers and thunderstorms, but the cold front comes through and actually wipes out some of this humidity, at least briefly. For Sunday, it'll be less humid. Of course, any break from it that we can get, we will take. Going into next week, though, the heat and humidity are back on. Upper 80s, close to 90 for Monday and Tuesday.
You know, Cherie just said, not negative, just being cautious and ready. And I just wrote back,
Yeah.
I like that. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I have better nicknames, okay?
Ooh.
Terrific Tracy,
Oh.
Charismatic Christian.
Ooh.
There we go.
So what would yours be?
Oh.
Super Stacy?
Yeah, sure. Super.
Super Stacy.
We'll all have fun nicknames. And, you know, we can just be excited because tomorrow is Friday, right?
Yay.
We almost made it.
And that is a feel-good situation. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us on After GMS. These are great conversations. I bet we'll have some more great ones for you tomorrow. We'll be back with more news, weather, and headlines tomorrow at 7:45. We'll see you later.
See you.